So today we're with Greater Miami CVB and in fact coming direct and live from Miami, which is exciting. Although it's a lovely sunny day in London and Hampton Court today, it hasn't been all week, and I'm sure it's been lovely and sunny in Miami all week. We have Joe Docal, who is the International Director for the CVB, responsible for the UK market. So welcome, Joe. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Alison. It's a pleasure to be here with you once again.
Thank you. We're going to have a little bit of a chat about obviously the CVB, yourself, careers in general in tourism, and a little bit about ANTOR membership, ANTOR being the Association of National Tourist Office Representatives. And in fact, we're celebrating 70 years as an association at the moment. So clearly doing something right. And I know you're quite a new member. Miami isn't, but you are quite a new member yourself personally to the ANTOR group. So what have the benefits of ANTOR been to you so far? What have you seen that you feel is a good reason to be a member of ANTOR?
Well, one of the benefits that I've enjoyed so far has been all of the continuous updates with really great information. That allows us to really learn more of what's going on in the UK market, allowing us to plan better, and certainly share internally as well with colleagues what is happening in a very important market for Greater Miami and Miami Beach, which is the UK and Ireland. So for us, we we're constantly or continuously upkeeping our membership in organizations such as ANTOR, because for us, obviously, it is important to be able to support the efforts that are being done with by organizations such as ANTOR, which here in the U.S. would be someone like ASTA or CLIA. And even in Latin America, in some countries like Colombia, it would be ANATO. So we do value those memberships and certainly the benefits that they provide us, and certainly we're happy to support those organizations on a local level.
That's fantastic, and we're very pleased to have Miami as a member. As we want to make sure that we have members from every continent and every country in the world. So it's really good to have Miami on board. You mentioned the fact that we do a lot of market intelligence. This has actually been one of those positive things that have come out of COVID, not that could be considered a positive era, but because of COVID, we have as an association started doing an awful lot more market intelligence sharing, research into the market trends and behavior, consumer behavior. So I'm delighted that is going down well with our membership. So how about the CVB? In the UK, you've got a small structure, I believe, but I'm sure in Miami, with the importance of the North American and South American markets, your structure must be quite impressive. So tell me a little bit about the CVB.
Well, we're now here in the office. We're about 50 plus. We did go through a restructuring, if you will, downsizing of staff at the end of last year, the end of our fiscal year last year. And so, we are all now quite busy because we're doing double and triple duty. But the great thing about working in this organization and really representing our destination is the fact that it really is a lot of fun. It's incredible how and I can tell you from personal experiences when I go to trade shows, the stories that I hear from people, whether it's travel agents or even the end consumers, because we do here in the States a lot of consumer shows, and it's great to hear the stories of I always say there's three types that we get in the booth. The ones that are a little bit depressed because they were just in Miami and now it's like they wish they were still here. And so, so we get those. We get the ones that are like super excited because they're in the process of planning and they know that they're coming down within a week or 2 weeks time. And then obviously we get the ones that have all these great stories, particularly the older profile of participants in these events, because they go tell stories about when their parents started bringing them down here for vacation and so on and so forth. And they really share a lot of their personal stories and of their visitations to Miami. So we have a lot of fun doing what we do. And when you say Miami, it brings a smile to people's faces, and they're always, whenever they ask you where you're from and you say Miami, it's like an excitement, an instant excitement. So we're very proud of that, because we have really grown tremendously. I mean, I've lived in Miami. I grew up here in Miami since I was 5 years old, and it's been terrific for me to see the transformation that our destination has gone through. And what's exciting is that we're not done yet. And some things that I do, and again, sharing a little bit of personal things, is that this time of year, when it gets dark a little early, there are times when I literally, it's dark when I'm about to leave the office, so I turn my office light off and I just look out the window, and I'm just like, wow, this place is really beautiful. And then I turn the light on and I go home. Usually it's about 7:30 in the evening, but you know what? It's just really terrific to just see what this destination has become throughout the years.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, I was lucky enough to go to Florida International University, which I believe you also went to, for a semester. And that was a while ago. So I got to know Miami a while ago and loved every minute. It's an amazing place to study, an amazing place to be a young person in. But I've also been lucky enough to come back on several occasions on holiday and business as well. And my heart jumps every time I come back to Miami, because it is evolving all the time. And as you say, you can't say Miami without smiling. It is just a beautiful, beautiful place, and such fun, and such good quality of food and accommodation. There's something there for everyone. And it's gone down through generations to my sons now. They absolutely adore Miami. So
Great.
Yeah, great place to be. And talking about careers, how long have you been with I think you mentioned how long you've been in Miami, but how long have you been with CVB?
Well, I just actually celebrated my sixth year anniversary, and it's really amazing because I always celebrated the week of ANTOR, which is a trade show in Colombia. When I started at the bureau 6 years ago, I came into the office in the morning. I made my rounds. I was taken around. I was introduced to my colleagues in the office. And that afternoon, my boss and I, Gisela, and I were on an airplane on our way down to Bogota, Colombia, to the trade show ANTOR. So for me, it's a double celebration, if you will, when I go to Colombia, because it's one of our annual treks that we do. So I celebrate my anniversary in Bogota, Colombia every year. So it's been 6 years. Previous to that, I worked about 15 years in the cruise industry. I did work with companies that had representations, whether they be of destinations, car rentals, cruise lines. So I've done a little bit of both. What I have not done in my career so far has either worked for a hotel directly or an airline. But it's been exciting. But this so far has been the crown jewel.
So, Joe, I didn't know we had so much in common, and also how much we complement each other. So my first day back in the UK in the travel and tourism industry was at WTM. I didn't even get to go to the office. I was brought back out of hotel management operations in Switzerland to join the marketing team of Copthorne Hotels, the hotel group, although they were called CHM at the time. My first job was to rebrand the group. But I was just put on this stand, my first exhibition stand ever, for Show Market, and taken by the hand by one colleague and another, and told how to run an exhibition stand. And of course, the hotel group was owned by an airline, so I've got that complementary bit that you haven't had the chance to experience yet. But I think the wonderful thing about the industry is that everybody is passionate about the industry, and there is no better industry for me in the world, because how can you not get up in the morning and be happy to talk about holidays and travel and beautiful exotic destinations, and it just makes everybody smile. And I think we are very privileged that wherever we go, however hard we're working, and in the industry, when you're in hotel management, I can assure you, work even harder than you do in marketing, which is unbelievably true. We still don't complain. We still enjoy every minute of it. So I think that's one of the things that we really want to get across to anyone listening that's thinking about a career in the industry is you bring skill sets that you didn't know you had into it. My marketing stems from FIU, and that was because I majored there in marketing, which I couldn't do where I was in Oxford. But you also take skill sets away, don't you? Even if you're not leaving the industry, but the skill sets that you learn are very transportable. They're very transferable to other industries. So yeah, really encouraging everybody to join us in the future. And the great thing is I did a lot of waitressing and cocktail bar waiting in Miami.
The funny part too is that once travel gets in your veins, it's very hard to let it go. And also just throughout the years, the friendships that one makes throughout, globally. And when you meet up, whether it's at a trade show or you come to visit the market, and you meet up, it's the hugs, it's the kisses, it's like, especially now, because we've had such a challenging 2 years, that it's still amazing to see, even though we've done a lot of, as I mentioned, we've done a lot of in-person events here. It's still, sometimes I just sit back and I watch, and it's just great to see people just hugging, and you see that excitement of, oh my God, I'm so glad to see you finally after 2 years, and to shake that hand and do that. But the friendships, to me, the friendships are incredible. I mean, I have friendships that, 30 years, and it's just, and they're still going strong. And so that's all been, I attribute all that to this industry, as you say.
Absolutely, and talking friendship, that's what ANTOR is all about. It's about building friendships with other destinations and learning from their experiences and transferring the different knowledge and skill sets that we've all got to make travel a better journey and an even better experience for everybody else. Now we're going to come on to the C word. We have to, I guess, because thankfully there's very little of it around anymore, and very little mention of COVID. I know that we have lifted all restrictions in the UK unless you have it, and then of course you have to protect everybody else from catching it from you. And I know that Miami has been very lucky actually over the past 2 years, much more lucky than we have been. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your COVID story, and if there are any restrictions at the moment at all in place?
I'm happy to. And actually, on the drive into the office this morning, I was thinking how, in thinking, about this call that we're having, is, the time when we saw a very dim light at the end of the tunnel, and it seems like now we have to have our sunglasses on because of all the light that's coming in, which I love that. And for us, you are right. We have been extremely lucky as a destination. I mean, we officially opened for business the beginning of June of 2020, June 1st, it was right after the Memorial Day weekend, even though we did some soft openings the second half of May. But officially we opened up in June 1st, which was allowing hotels to take reservations for 50% of occupancy, restaurants at 50%. The beaches opened up, which is what everybody was waiting for, to get out there and just, get in the sun and so on. And it's just been an upward trajectory until, since then. I mean, last year we ended the year with more than 20 new hotel builds in destination, new attractions, new restaurants, and actually a lot of those restaurants were being planned to open up in big cities, in other big cities like New York, like Chicago, LA, and so on. But because of the restrictions that that were imposed on those cities, they decided to, let's go down to Miami. And so a lot of them open up throughout the destination. So whether, on the beach, in the Wynwood area, downtown, etc. So again, we had that growth. We also had growth in air service, domestic as well as international. Airlines that had never flown into Miami International before started service here, and also in the cruise port. While cruises really didn't start until July of last year, they were still building new terminals. As a matter of fact, 2 weekends ago, Sunday. Richard Branson was down here, inaugurating his new terminal for Virgin Voyages. So that's a new one, and we have Carnival still. Carnival has to build theirs, as well as MSC Cruises. So again, there's just been this tremendous growth, and a lot of our events are coming back. Our annual events are coming back. We had in December, we had our Basel, which was a full-fledged event that wasn't scaled back or anything like that. We had our marathon. This month we have, last weekend we had the South Beach Wine and Food Festival. We have Ultra this month. We have the Miami Open this month. And down the road, like 2 months, in about 2 months' time, for the first time ever, we're going to have Formula One racing here. So we're like really, really excited about that. It's a 10-year agreement that they've done with Miami-Dade County, the city of Miami. So we're really excited about that. So again, it's just been tremendous growth, and you're absolutely right. We have been, as a destination, we've been extremely lucky compared to some of our other cities here in the U.S. Not just looking at the international side as well.
And a lot of things you have just mentioned are outdoors.
Yes.
That is Miami. It's outdoors.
Yes.
And I think that's the big advantage to somewhere like some of the other cities you've mentioned, like New York, where most of the time would have been indoors. That
Yes.
made it much more challenging.
Yeah.
And of course, the cruise industry is an industry that is massive. And I would always encourage people, if they're going to cruise in and out of Miami, to add on at least an extra week. Yeah. To get to know the city, because it's worth every minute of their stay, and not to just go through, breeze through and breeze out again, because that's such a wasted opportunity, really. So yeah, talking about the future, because you've been planning, I'm sure, a lot of activities in the future as for the UK as well as for your other markets. You've mentioned the Formula One, which happens to be over a birthday weekend of mine, so I can't forget the date. And my sons are all wondering why we're not coming over, or if we're all coming over for the Formula One.
Well, it's a little challenging this year for tickets, but maybe for next year you can come and year 2 you can come and celebrate your birthday here with us and sit in the grandstands. Yeah,
absolutely. What else is there planned from a marketing perspective? How do you see? You mentioned 20 odd hotels opened in the last year or so. What's happening in the next 3 years? That's what happens in one.
Yeah, well, you know what, that's part of the plan, actually continue, and pre-COVID, of course, we were always looking at different departments, whether it be the our art and culture department, looking for new events to bring into Miami to really continue and just offering more options to visitors as they came came to the destination. Our sports tourism and entertainment, again, those guys are continuously going out, looking for new opportunities related to sports to bring into town. Our LGBTQ plus marketing area or department, Dan has done an unbelievable job in really bringing certain events, more events here to the destination. Certainly our convention sales team, that's something that is still quite soft for us, and we're not alone in that. I think it's the same for a lot of destinations, but certainly, we have an unbelievable venue here in the Miami Beach Convention Center, where there was a more than, the millions of dollars that they spend in renovating that venue is incredible. I mean, it's something that was built in the 50s and it looks like it was just built 3 years ago. So certainly looking into bringing more of those large conventions, citywide conventions into the destination, because we know that we can handle those. We certainly have sufficient hotels to manage, those delegates that are in town, and additional looking for and trying to bring in new and better annual events to the destination. And again, just to keep it fresh, because you can't rest on your laurels. There's a lot of competition out there. We have the Caribbean. In some cases, I know the Bahamas is on the Caribbean, but it's only a 40-minute flight time from here. And other areas of the Caribbean, it's within an hour and a half. So Miami is also a transit area, so it's very easy to fly in, connect, and off you go into the Caribbean. So, we work hard to keep people here in destination. And just up the road in Central Florida, we compete with our cousins up in Central Florida with Orlando, with the park. So we're constantly doing things and looking for opportunities to keep ourselves fresh, and to keep visitors excited about visiting Miami, and as I said, keeping them here in destination.
Yeah, and I think repeat business is something that every destination values. It's much easier to keep a client and have them repeat their time with you than it is to find a new client, and also much more cost effective. And I think I don't want the listeners to think that it's a building site, because it's not. You don't realize these things are happening around you. And the great thing about Miami is it has so many different varied neighborhoods, and a lot of the neighborhoods are regentrifying themselves. So you might say we've had 20 new hotels, and I'm thinking, where could we put 20 new hotels in Miami? But I know that when I get there, I will be excited to see where they are.
Yeah.
And if you walk down the Broadwalk, and this can't see the lovely picture behind you, but you walk down that beautiful Broadwalk along Miami Beach. It's a nice long walk if you want to do the whole one, which I've done several times. It is so varied and so exciting, and the quality of the hotels are spectacular. But yes, the events are important, because people no longer are looking to go to a destination. They're looking for an experience. And if that experience is in your destination, great. But if it's not, then they're not going to come. So I think the variety of life is definitely what you're aiming to offer. And that sounds spot on for the UK market. So well done. Well done, Joe. Thank you. I don't think there's anything else you'd like to add for the listeners before we close up.
Well, thank you. Yes, actually, I would, and you did mention, you make it a great point about most of our activities are outdoors, and one area that we've in the last few years have really made an effort to talk about and really put out there is the natural side of Miami. We're the only destination in the U.S. that has 2 national parks. One of them is the Florida Everglades, which I'm sure a lot of people know, but we have another one, which is south of the city, about 45 minutes south of the city, which is Biscayne National Park, and 95% of that is underwater. So, and not to mention, Big Cypress, which is west of the city, and some of the other state and local parks. So for us, it's that campaign is called Miami Land. So we're very proud of that. And we call it our backyard, because everybody, of course, stays on the east side, where, the city is, and so on and so forth, and the beach. But certainly we invite, our visitors to take the time to not only visit the natural areas, but also the great neighborhoods that we have, because each one of them really offers a unique experience, opportunities to take in the local cuisine, the local culture, activities that each one of them offers. And you asked a question earlier about any restrictions that we have. None. The answer to that is none. We don't require, none of our establishments require to show the vaccine certificate in order to enter a restaurant, sports venue, anything. Masks are just, it's up to you whether you like to wear it or not. We don't have a mandate. And the only restrictions we have to visit is what the federal government requires of you and of us when we come back into the country, which is to have that test, whether it's a PCR. Well, actually, within 24 hours, it's got to be an antigen, because that's the easiest and fastest way of doing it. But that test that is required, the negative COVID test, to enter the U.S. So other than that, there's absolutely nothing. So we certainly, we've been waiting for 3 years. It seems longer, for all of our UK friends to come back. We miss you. We can't stress that enough. And certainly, we're waiting for you with open arms. So we're hoping that the summer months come by very quickly, because we know that's when you like to travel. So can't wait for August and September, July, August and September, to start hearing that British accent once again in and around Miami.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think everybody's very keen and eager to get on a plane now and booking their holidays. And I'm sure Miami will definitely be on the bucket list. And Yeah, I think the only restriction is don't kiss the don't kiss the alligators when you're in Everglades.
Especially the mama gators when they've just had their babies. They're pretty they're a bit ornery. They get a bit ornery during that time.
So just watch, don't touch.
They're fun to watch. They really are fun to watch.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Joe. That's been fantastic talking to you, and look forward to catching up with you hopefully in Miami soon.
Thank you, Alison. Appreciate that. Have an excellent afternoon.
Thank you.
Excellent day. Take care.